How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you. So I'm Doreen Booth. I am a realtor. I'm with Team Elite at Baird & Warner Real Estate in Naperville. And with me today, I have Kris Patras. And what we're going to talk about today is a little bit about lenders. We're going to talk about, not lenders, but mortgages, and talk about what's different in today's market with mortgages. So Kris, do you have a minute? Don't forget, you can take a minute and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I have now muted my phone, so I apologize for that.
It's a learning experience for all of us.
Yep, I'm Kris Patras. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Key Mortgage. Key Mortgage is a mortgage banker that is local, and I've been in lending for more than 25 years now.
Okay, great. And Key Mortgage is a part of Baird & Warner, is that correct?
That is correct. We are one of the services that Baird & Warner offers in addition to title insurance, but we are one of their services, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, one of the things that I love about Baird & Warner is that we're sort of a one-stop shop. So when we're working with somebody, if we're working with a buyer, we can work with, we have lawyers that we work with, we have mortgage brokers that we work with, and it just makes it a little bit easier for the consumer. And then if we're working with the seller, we also, of course, can work with lawyers. If we work with lawyers that go through the Baird & Warner process, they don't work for Baird & Warner, but then they use Baird & Warner title, and then we're able to do a much more seamless process for the sellers.
Correct.
Ways to get to closing in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm.
So as obviously everybody knows, we're in a very new and different time right now. And what I wanted to ask you is, what's different now about the mortgage business? Can people still get a loan? Because some people have no choice but to buy a home or sell a home now. So,
right. Yes. Contrary to what you might be hearing in the media, some of the banks have changed their lending guidelines to now requiring a 20% down payment with a much higher credit score requirement. Some banks are maybe choosing, or lenders choosing, not to do mortgages at all. Key Mortgage is not in that camp. We are local and have been since 1855, and mortgages are our lifeblood. The great thing about our business model is we're a mortgage banker, so we have many different options to the client. We are signed up with many different investors that we sell our mortgages to. So if one investor decides not to be so competitive today, that's a-okay. We will be able to secure a mortgage for our clients with another investor. So that kind of sets us apart, and the fact that we're local, and we're still doing mortgages with as little as 3% down. There's still down payment assistance products out there that if a qualified client for that program is eligible, they can get into a home with 1% down, 1% of their own money.
Wow, that's amazing. Even in today's market, that's still possible.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, go on, I'm sorry.
As far as what's changed, though, in the process, it might take a little bit longer just because verifications of employment, other verifications, and other processes that we are required to do as a lender for compliance purposes, it might take a little bit longer if, in fact, that information or that data we have to obtain is from a company that might be working remotely or has reduced hours. So maybe the only negative that I see is that it might be taking just a little bit longer.
And what about pre-approvals? Like I have somebody who I spoke with last night who's interested in looking at homes. I know from the realtor end of things that if somebody's looking for a home, they have to be strongly pre-approved right now before they're going into somebody's house. The listing realtor they really want to make sure that they're not just looking, that they have a strong pre-approval letter. If somebody called you and wanted to get a pre-approval, how long is that taking now?
If the client is organized and can provide their documents, which is income related, and they are able to go online, do a quick application that allows me to pull their credit, I can do a pre-approval, a true pre-approval, same day.
That's fantastic.
Yes, and I know some of my competitors, they are taking up to 3 weeks. So that makes it difficult for you to work with the client. if in fact they found that great home and they can't put an offer in for 3 weeks because they're not pre-approved.
Well, and in today's market, they might not even be able to go see the home if they're not
Yeah.
pre-approved, because everybody, you know, people, unless the home is vacant, realtors are definitely, and homeowners are definitely being more picky, you know, because there's no open houses now. And so homeowners are just not wanting somebody to come into their home unless they're serious buyers.
That makes
So
perfect sense.
with my
Makes perfect
listings
sense.
that aren't vacant, that's absolutely what I'll do, is call and make sure that they're pre-approved and that they're a serious buyer. But they've seen the virtual tour, they've looked at all the pictures, that they're not just looking. So pre-approval is pretty necessary right now to even look at houses.
Absolutely. Probably from what you're saying, more so now than ever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. So, you know, some people, as we said, are still buying homes. They're moving to the area. They have a relationship change. You know, some people just need to buy and sell now, investors also. But what if somebody decided to put off buying a home or selling their home? Well, let's say buying a home. What could they do now to be getting ready to buy a home in the late spring or the summer?
That's a really good question, and maybe something that not everyone understands. But if you're going to buy a home in the next 6 to 9 months, it's not too soon to talk to a lender or a trusted advisor, because there's many ways that we can prepare you for home ownership, or maybe there's some things that we can do to strategize that then helps you to be more prepared and to be a better buyer. Or perhaps there's things that the buyer hasn't thought about that might be advantageous to them, that perhaps then they don't have to wait. So maybe an example is someone feels they have to pay off all their credit cards before they come to me to be pre-approved.
Okay.
I can do a what if pre-approval. So if you don't pay off your credit cards, what is your buying capacity versus what if you do pay off your credit cards? Or perhaps it makes more sense to not put as much of a down payment on a home. So maybe your goal was to put 10% down, but perhaps it makes more sense to put 5% down and use those extra funds to pay off higher interest rate loans. So just starting a discussion to strategize each individual's financial picture from you know, a higher level view just really helps clients to be more prepared, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting, interesting. And so if somebody comes to you, is it going to hurt their credit if you pull their credit now, like for them to buy in the spring, late spring or summer?
It shouldn't, but one thing that we're able to offer, one inquiry will not impact your credit scores to the point where you would no longer be eligible to purchase. However, I understand people work very hard to build their credit and want it protected. I am able to do a consultation and a pre-approval based upon what we call a soft qual. So it is an inquiry, but it doesn't show, so let me back up. It shows the data that I need as far as scores, what the client's credit liabilities are at the present time, but it doesn't actually ding their credit or show up as a hard pull. So we can do that, and then as we get closer, do an actual credit pull.
God, that's great. That's amazing. I've learned so many things. So we talked about the one bright spot is there's money available for down payment assistance programs. More money available now, it sounds like, than there's been in the past. Is that right?
Yeah, the IHDA program, or the IDA program for the state of Illinois, they have really stepped up. Their interest rates are phenomenal. They're below market. So absolutely there's money there.
Okay.
And if someone's maybe thinking of buying later in the year, maybe they want to think about pushing that up, you know, having a discussion with us, because who knows how long that money will be available and for this phenomenal rate. I mean, yesterday the rate was as low as 3%.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you. This has been really helpful, and I think that it's going to be a great resource for people. Kris.Patras at mykeymortgage.com. KRIS.PATRAS at mykeymortgage.com, or you can reach out to me, Doreen.Booth@BairdWarner.com, and I can get you together with Kris. If you're thinking of buying or selling, it's a great time to get ready. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Doreen. I appreciate being a partner with you.
Sure. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I stopped. Oh, sorry.